if you're still up, and the folks who miss Dancing with Our Stars, I appreciate it. But look, the support of the democracy matters. It matters that you're here. And I'm as surprised as anybody of this coalition that Kamala Harris has built, from Bernie Sanders to Dick Cheney to Taylor Swift, and a whole bunch of folks in between there.
Tuesday night, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance squared off in the vice presidential debate at the CBS Broadcast Center in New York City. In its closing statement, the Democratic candidate listed off a few big names that have thrown their support behind Vice President Kamala Harris, among them Taylor Swift. But the mention of the pop star was not the only nod to the Tortured Poets Department singer. Eagle-eyed viewers noticed Walz was wearing a friendship bracelet, a signature Swiftie accessory. It's unclear, however, if the bracelet he was wearing is the one that went up on sale on Harris's campaign website soon after getting the endorsement from Swift. Walz's accessory choice wasn't the only one that caught the attention of viewers. Some on social media had thoughts about J.D. Vance's choice of tie. Among the criticism, one user wrote, "I'm usually not this superficial, but whoever decided Vance should wear a glittery hot pink tie, also accentuates the guy liner, should be fired and never work in politics again." While some came to his defense, pointing out the pink tie for Breast Cancer Awareness Month is such a power move. Aside from the fashion choices, there were a couple of key moments from the debate making headlines. While the debate was mostly civilized, one moment that stood out was when J.D. Vance was asked if his running mate, Donald Trump, lost the last election in 2020. The senator refused to acknowledge the loss.
Would you again seek to challenge this year's election results, even if every governor certifies the results? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Well, Nora, first of all, I think that we're focused on the future. We need to figure out how to solve the inflation crisis caused by Kamala Harris's policies, make housing affordable, make groceries affordable, and that's what we're focused on. But I want to answer your question because you did ask it. Look, what President Trump has said is that there were problems in 2020, and my own belief is that we should fight about those issues, debate those issues peacefully in the public square, and that's all I've said, and that's all that Donald Trump has said. Remember, he said that on January the 6th, the protesters ought to protest peacefully. And on January the 20th, what happened? Joe Biden became the president. Donald Trump left the White House.
I think this issue of settling our differences at the ballot box, shaking hands when we lose, being honest about it, but to deny what happened on January 6th, the first time in American history that a president or anyone tried to overturn a fair election and the peaceful transfer of power. And here we are 4 years later in the same boat. This was a threat to our democracy in a way that we had not seen. And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
On the other side, Walz struggled to answer a question about time he spent in Hong Kong, ultimately saying he misspoke when previously saying he had been in China during historic protests in the spring of 1989.
You said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year. Can you explain that discrepancy?
Many times I will talk a lot. I will get caught up in the rhetoric. But being there, the impact it made, the difference it made in my life, I learned a lot about China. My commitment, whether it be through teaching, which I was good at, or whether it was being a good soldier or was being a good member of Congress, those are the things that I think are the values that people care about.
Governor, just to follow up on that, the question was, can you explain the discrepancy?
All I said on this is I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said. So I was in Hong Kong and China during the democracy protests, went in. And from that, I learned a lot of what needed to be in governance.
Thank you, Governor.